Welcome to Game Discovery on our second episode of Forgotten Old Indies. Today we're going to be exploring 8 more games that have either largely been forgotten about or never heard of in the first place. So let me know down in the comments which of these you might have heard of. And as always, feel free to suggest any games I might have missed, because I'm always looking for new treasures to uncover. Let's get into it. Let's start with a game from a legendary franchise that nobody ever talks about. When I say the word Gauntlet, what is the first thing you think of? If you're old like me, you might think of the original arcade or NES version. Or if you're like my brother who loved the N64, you might think of stuff like Gauntlet Legends. This legendary series has seen a ton of entries in its life, and most of them are fondly remembered, but almost nobody talks about this one. Simply called Gauntlet, this reboot was released in 2014, and I think it did just about everything right. It kept the classes that we all know and love, as well as the classic gameplay of the original. Fans of the series will feel right at home. You know the drill. You fight through dungeons with loads and loads of monsters everywhere, and you can play with up to 4 players. The gameplay is simple fun, just like the classics, and there are some bosses which are always fun to fight as well. It's certainly not the deepest game out there. Gauntlet never was, but if you love mowing down mobs or monsters with these classic heroes, this is definitely a game worth checking out.
Conjures the gauntlet seeking glory.
While we are talking about classic franchises that are about mowing down large mobs of enemies, I can't help but also think about Smash TV. That was probably my favorite twin-stick shooter as a kid. You went from room to room just wiping out mobs of enemies, and the whole thing had a real cool dystopian game show vibe. Iron Fisticle takes that concept into a medieval dungeon crawler. The gameplay is extremely reminiscent of that classic, and has you going from room to room with a simple map just wiping out hordes of enemies. The levels are procedurally generated, so you get a new experience each time. The twin-stick controls are really tight, and they have a nice upgrade system to make the gameplay a little deeper, along with a nice variety of items and upgrades to find in each playthrough, including different weapons and power-ups. This is a really fun game that I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about. It has a very positive rating on Steam with just a little over 300 user reviews and retails for $9. I've seen it go on sale for under $2. Either way, if you like Smash TV, give this one a whirl. It's a good time, and you probably haven't played it before. Alright, let's do one more twin-stick shooter, only this one takes us out of the arena and into a 2D action platformer. This game is called Viktor, and kind of plays like what you'd imagine Contra to play as if the controls were twin-stick instead of just 8-directional aiming. You get a nice variety of different weapons as the game progresses, and you can upgrade them with an in-game currency found in each level. You also get this cool dash teleport thing that kind of looks like something I'd imagine Alucard being able to do. Each of the levels are really fun and well designed. There are lots of enemies to shoot, some cool set pieces, and the bosses are all pretty tough and a lot of fun to learn. Released in 2014, this game currently is on Steam for $8, but I have seen it on sale for as low as 79 cents. Either way, the campaign will take you about 3 hours to finish. It's a really good time for fans of classic run-and-gun action. Spoiler alert, released in 2014, is a runner game with a fun gimmick. You start at the end of a classic platformer, and now you have to run backwards through the levels, retracing your steps. In order to avoid the time paradox, you have to make sure that your path backwards is the same as your path forward was. So this manifests in a variety of different ways. So for example, if there is a coin, you can't collect it, as doing so will create a time paradox and force you back to the last checkpoint. However, if you see a faded out coin, that means you collected it on your first run, and you have to make sure you touch it, as missing it will then create a time paradox. You also have to do things like unkill enemies you've already defeated and avoid the ones you didn't. This is a fun little game with a good sense of humor and unique concept. The runner gameplay is simple and intuitive, and it's just a lot of fun to play. It definitely is on the short side. I think the first time I beat this game, it took me about 45 minutes or so, but it retails for $3, and you could usually pick it on sale for under $1. If you enjoy runner games, give it a go. It's different, a little silly, fun, and you can beat it with very little time commitment. The Scapegoat series is something I first ran into on the Xbox 360 arcade. The original released in 2012, with this sequel coming to Steam in 2014. Both of these are really fun puzzle platformers that have you playing as a goat trying to escape a tower. I really like the name. It's very clever and aptly describes what's going on in the game. There are over 50 levels here that can be tackled in a non-linear way. Your moveset does not grow or expand, and while it might seem like a bad thing, the developers did such a brilliant job with level design that you are constantly put to the test to try to figure out new ways to use the abilities you already have. The challenge in this game is just right. The puzzles are tough but not obtuse, and is the kind of game you'll get stuck on, but you could also beat without a walkthrough. This is just a brilliant puzzle platform that definitely got some acclaim when it was released, but has been forgotten, and definitely one that needs to be remembered for those who haven't played it. Dr. Green is probably the most unknown game on our list today. Released in 2015, it's currently sitting at a mixed rating with 34 reviews. So yeah, nobody knows about it, and even the people who do don't always give it glowing reviews, but for the most part, I really enjoyed it. You play as Dr. Green on a quest to liberate the forest and captured animals from the evil corporate construction workers trying to destroy it. Your hero controls much like Mega Man and has to run through 8 levels of action platforming to save the forest. There's nothing particularly innovative or unique about this game, but it's well done and a good time. It sells for $3 on Steam, and a playthrough will take you a little under an hour and a half. If you're looking for a fun 2D, kind of Mega Man-ish platformer, give it a shot. It's not nearly as good as Mega Man, but it's fun and worth it for the low asking price. Our oldest game on today's list is Blade Kitten, released in 2010. I originally played this on the Xbox 360 arcade and later rebought it on Steam, where it sells for $5, but be careful, the game ends on a cliffhanger and you will need to buy the DLC in order to finish it. This is a fun game. It's a 2.5D platformer with some cool environments and nice traversal options, including wall climbs and ceiling hangs. The levels are linear-ish, but you can go off the beaten path to find collectibles and upgrades. The combat is nothing special. It's kind of mashy and repetitive, but it gets the job done. It's solid. It's a solid game, but the indie scene has evolved a lot since the game's release. It doesn't hold up great, but it's okay. However, taken as a product of the time, I really liked it. When I stumbled upon this game 16 years ago, it was a time where games like this are not as common as they are today, and this was a nice surprise, so it might be worth checking out just for kind of its historical value. The last game on this list is Castle in the Darkness, which was definitely my favorite game the year that I played it in 2015, which is also the year this game came out. It's a Metroidvania with simple combat and extreme difficulty. I want you to think of any annoying trope in any old game. Just think of the things that have annoyed you the most, and I guarantee you it is somewhere in this game. You got spikes, and more spikes. There are spikes everywhere, and they kill you in one hit. There are Medusa heads. Well, I don't know if they're really Medusa heads, but they're heads, and they fly in the exact same pattern as Medusa heads. There are rotating gears. There are bats, because you know, what platformer doesn't have bats? You will die a ton navigating these levels. Checkpoints are not always close, but the gameplay is also really fast. Your character moves quickly, and you have instant respawns, so you'll always get right back into the action. This is one of those games where every time I died, I just wanted to keep playing. It never really frustrated me throughout the whole adventure, which took me about 7 hours to beat. I love the boss battles in this game. The sprite work on them is absolutely fantastic. They're pretty tough and they hit extremely hard. I recently learned that a sequel for this game is in the works, and I cannot wait to give it a shot. But if you've never played this game, now is a great time to go back and give it a shot. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of today's picks. Which ones would you like to try out? Which ones have you heard of? And what are some other obscure games I might have missed?